This year, BMW has introduced a bunch of non-traditional BMWs, but this refreshed 3 Series is BMW's wheelhouse. It's about a sport sedan that over-delivers. This is the 2023 BMW M340i xDrive. What's it like? Let's go for a drive. I'm your host, Brian Makse, racing driver, lover of driving fast, fun things, and on this channel, you get reviews for drivers from drivers. Now, the BMW 3 Series, at least in my lifetime, has been the quintessential classic traditional BMW, and this is a refresh, a light update, if you will, to BMW's latest 3 Series, and there are plenty of things that have changed, and thankfully a lot of things that have remained the same. But before we get into what it's like to drive, let's have a look at this M340i in a little more depth. Mechanically, this is very much a traditional modern BMW. However, BMW's used a slightly different recipe to get to this refreshed 3 Series. With this 2023 M340i xDrive, there still is that 3-liter inline-6 with a single twin-scroll turbo. However, they've added in a 48-volt mild hybrid system. Combined peak power is 374 horses from 5,500 to 6,500 RPM and 369 pounds of torque from 1,900 to 5,000 RPM. Transmission is an 8-speed automatic. This is an xDrive, so it does have all-wheel drive. The M Sport differential, which is an electronically controlled limited slip diff, is standard on this M340i xDrive. Suspension's based around that front double joint spring strut setup, a 5-link at the rear. Adaptive dampers are optional. Power steering is electrically assisted, of course. It's variable ratio, variable assist. Brakes are 4-piston at the front, single piston at the rear, and of course you can get the M Sport Pro brake upgrade. Wheels and tires should be either 18s or 19s, and based on the build sheet, I think we should be on 19s, but BMW has us on winter mode with these 17s, which are just absolutely perfect for this weather. There is some active aero going on at the front. Inside, there are plenty of upgrades, notably BMW's iDrive 8, which we will talk about in a little bit, and curb weight of this M340i xDrive is right around 4,000 pounds. Among the things that haven't changed is exactly what I want from a BMW, which is an excellent cockpit. The seat is fantastic, seating position is fantastic, and I am just perfectly interfaced with this BMW, so well done, BMW. The seat is kind of like the Goldilocks of 3 Series seats. Even the M3 and M4 have some crazy seats, especially that last M4 CSL that we drove, but that's another story, and you can check out that episode on the channel. But this seat is just perfect. It's got exactly the right kind of adjustment I expect and exactly the right kind of support, both laterally and just overall comfort. The seat is just perfection. The steering wheel is also the right shape, the right size. It does have a little M badge here on the bottom, and I think what that really means is it's got a little more rim thickness, but otherwise love the steering wheel, and it's just perfect here in this M340i. As you know, we've got the new infotainment system and this new digital instrument cluster, and it works wonderfully here, even with direct light right now. This is perfectly legible for me. You probably can't see it on camera, but everything is crystal freaking clear, even in direct sunlight. This is also equipped with the heads-up display, and that is perfectly legible. When I have my polarized sunglasses on, however, can't really see much of it at all. The rest of the ergonomics are traditional BMW, but a lot of things have changed here. One is with this iDrive 8, so the climate controls are all in this screen, so take that for what it's worth, but I generally drive cars, set them to automatic climate control, and then I'm very happy. As well, we've got this fancy little flipper shifter thing, which we first started seeing in BMW's new electric cars, the iX and the i4, and it's not bad. I think I understand why they've done this. We experienced it in the X7 recently, and now I think I understand it. It keeps this area clean and free of just clutter and a big shifter. So I think I get it. And I don't know if I'm perfectly happy with this because I'd love a traditional shifter, but this isn't so bad. Not that I'd really use the shifter in this car anyway. If I was going to play with that and want to change gear, I'd be using the paddles on the back of the steering wheel. One thing I don't care for is this iDrive 8. And what I'd say if I were on BMW's board is that this was rushed to market and they need to take it back and make it a little bit better. Reason being, there's an extra level of complexity here. I've said the same thing with other modern BMWs. There's just this extra layer of complexity to the system that really doesn't need to be here. I do appreciate the wireless CarPlay and the, of course, wireless charger down here. So anytime I get in and out of this thing, automatically I'm on wireless CarPlay and it works flawlessly. You and your passenger are going to be very comfortable here in the front seats. Back here, however, I can just fit behind myself in this seating position, and as you can see, I'm relatively close to the steering wheel, which is how you should sit anyway, but that's another story for another day. We have an episode on that subject here on this channel. Nonetheless, there's not a lot of room in the second row in the back seat for adults. If you got small children, that's fine. There is a pass-through and the seats do fold down, so if you got bigger items, you can fit them in this 3 Series. And otherwise, the trunk room is actually pretty generous, but in context of something like an X3, you can appreciate why people look at crossovers and SUVs because there's a lot more interior volume. Yeah, this thing is ridiculously quick. 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds, and I bet you with the right tire and the right surface, this could turn 0 to 60 times in about 4 seconds flat. And think about that. This is not a full-blown M car. Think about that for a second. This is not an M3 competition xDrive. This is an M340i xDrive, and it's close enough in terms of a lot of the technology that's there, like the all-wheel drive system, not exactly M-tuned, as well as that M Sport differential. That is an electronically controlled limited slip diff. Just works flawlessly here. And as you can see, we've had a bit of snow. This thing has no trouble putting down power in the dry, in the wet, in snow. It is just incredibly sure-footed everywhere, all the time. And the best part is this all-wheel drive system is rear biased. So the first time I went around a corner on a little bit of ice, the rear stepped out, perfectly controlled a little bit of counter steer, caught it, and carried on my merry way. Now we've got the inline 6 with the single scroll turbo and the 48-volt mild hybrid, which sits in front of the transmission. Essentially, it all combines together to make this thing incredibly powerful. And to me, it actually feels more powerful than what the numbers suggest. I mean, 0 to 60 in the low 4s, absolutely. And the way this produces torque from maximum torque from 1,500 to 5,000 RPM, that is just ridiculous. And what that means is you've got a much more relaxed driving experience because the transmission isn't shifting all the time. In normal driving, you're at peak torque all the time in almost every condition. What that means is you simply lean on the throttle, you've got maximum torque, and you rock it away. It is just incredible the way this drivetrain works together. And this is kind of the best of both worlds because it's a modern turbocharged engine where you've got maximum torque through the vast majority of the rev range. And then this delicious inline 6-cylinder makes maximum power right up near the red line. It is just incredible the way BMW is able to tune these motors now. Just a wonderful, wonderful motor, and the way it works in terms of this drivetrain is harmonious. It's a lovely, well-refined setup. The transmission itself works fine, but it's kind of in the background just because you're making maximum torque all the time with this motor. But when you do need to shift, shifts are smooth. Upshifts and downshifts, when you're really hustling this thing, are positive. Downshifts are rev matched as well. So it kind of works very well together for a car that has a soft M badge on it. It is not quite as aggressively tuned as a car with a full M badge like the M3 Comp or the M4 Comp. In terms of handling, this is a wonderful balance between ride quality and then outright handling. I'm very happy with this setup. It's not too harsh at all. And then when you lean on it in the corners, you can count on the suspension to do what it's supposed to do. Even though this car doesn't have the adaptive dampers, body and wheel control is excellent. The reason I perhaps advocate for the adaptive dampers is because BMW does such a good job with them. Keep in mind, brake feel from this M340i is well above average for all cars. And there's great feel here, but I was expecting a little bit more, and I don't know if they've had to retune the braking system for this mild hybrid. When you're into the brakes, you've got tremendous confidence. The ability for me to modulate that brake pedal is spot on. I can control the attitude of this M340 with that brake pedal alone. It is an excellent brake pedal. And of course, brake power, superb as well. It's an excellent all-around system. I just like a little bit more brake pedal feel out of that brake pedal. Otherwise, very happy with the brakes. Steering feels much the same thing. It is an electrically assisted system, so there's not a lot of feel that comes through the steering wheel. And yeah, I like the way BMW tunes their systems. And this is a variable assist, a variable ratio system, so it works very well in all conditions. And because BMW is focused on the driving experience, this is a wonderful setup. Yeah, of course, I could advocate for something maybe a little quicker for a driver like me, but otherwise, I'm really not too concerned. There is a decent amount of chassis feel, so for me, I can really feel what's going on at each of the four corners, and I'm not dependent on that brake feel or feel coming through the steering wheel. Chassis feel is superb here. You know, the thing is, even though this weighs about 2 tons, balance is exceptional. It goes back to that whole idea of a wonderfully well-rounded dynamic package. This does have excellent overall balance, and when you're throwing it through the corners, you've got tremendous confidence. When you pick up the throttle mid-corner and you're diligent about it, it never puts a foot wrong. It doesn't push into understeer. Because this all-wheel drive system is rear biased, when you pick up that throttle, you've got the confidence that it's putting down the power the way it should and gets you out of corners in a very satisfying way. With these 17-inch winter tires, the level of grip that this M340 would otherwise be capable of has been a bit reduced, but that has allowed us to explore the limits of this 3 Series a little bit more. So in summary, in context of what I was saying earlier, that the 3 Series represents, at least to me, this wonderful all-around, beautifully balanced sedan that kind of does everything. It's got the right amount of performance and dynamic handling, and that's really what we've got. We've got a 2023 cutting-edge sports sedan from BMW. Wonderful all-around dynamic package, great power, and overall it just works so harmoniously. How do you spec yours? Well, for us on this channel, we're concerned about performance considerations, and here, BMW's got us covered. Base price in the United States is about $58,000. Here in Canada, it's $66,000 for an M340i xDrive. Now, as tested, this has a lot of options. So this is about $69,000 US or $78,000 Canadian. What you're looking at is the Skyscraper Gray Metallic and Tacora Red Vernasca leather interior. As you know already, the M Sport differential is standard here, and this one is fitted with the M Sport Pro brake switches. The bigger brake package, it also has a bunch of convenience and luxury options. I kind of like it. However, this one is missing the adaptive dampers, and that's something I would consider because BMW does those very well. Otherwise, with an M340i xDrive, it is all about picking those couple of options, the M Sport Pro brakes and the adaptive dampers. And of course, if you can, where you live, you can get the non-run flat summer tires, but otherwise it's as simple as ticking those couple of boxes and then choosing your colors and being happy with your BMW M340i xDrive. My verdict, well, let's talk about fuel consumption. Not that it really matters, because this is just an incredibly well-rounded car. But as such, I'm getting about 25 miles per gallon, or maybe around 10 liters per 100 kilometers for my Canadian friends, and I'm driving this like I enjoy it. I don't ever soft pedal cars to achieve a fuel consumption number, and for me to get these kind of numbers with a car with this much performance just absolutely blows my mind. And what you have with this 23 M340i xDrive is an exceptionally well-rounded sports sedan. This is just an incredible machine. I cannot believe how quick it is, how sure-footed it is in this kind of weather. On top of that, it is the right size. It's very well screwed together, and it's relatively attractive for a modern German sports sedan. But this is one of these incredibly well-rounded machines. It is M-Car quick as well. This is just a fantastic piece, and if I were looking for a daily in this part of the world, this thing would be at the top of my list. Thanks for hanging out with me today and having a look at this 2023 BMW M340i xDrive. Hope you liked this episode, and if you did, well, you're not new to YouTube. You know what to do. Smash the subscribe button, turn on your notifications, like this video, and as always, sharing is caring. So please share this with your friends, especially on Reddit, because on Reddit, they really need to see reviews for drivers from drivers. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you want to support the channel, please hit up our merch store. Links here, links below. Lots of great stuff for driving enthusiasts like us, including our very popular line of Save the Manuals merch. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you again next time. And remember, cars don't understeer by themselves, not even beautifully balanced BMW sports sedans. Now that is a boss move right there, driving your Phantom in the winter. Well played, sir. Yeah, folks, don't get bitten by a dog and have them take off several layers of skin. I do not recommend that.